actually victims.
I think you guys have pulled out some really impressive performances from lead actor and lead actress. Can you tell me how you worked in that space?
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a very intense film, dealing with very heavy subject matter. So it started in the casting room. It started with who we were going to bring into this space. The actress Tori Ernst is phenomenal, and happens. I'm so lucky. I went to school with her. We went to the New School for Drama together. She was in the actor track. I was in the director track. So we've been partnered up and making films together since we left school. And so she's a producer on this project as well. So when I wrote the film, she was in my mind for that lead acting position, and I knew that she was going to just be phenomenal in the role and carry it on her back and take it very seriously. Charlie McElvin, who plays the husband, was actually just cast off of backstage. We just did a call to the universe and hoped that we got the right person. And we got a lot of brilliant self tapes. We saw some people in person, but Charlie absolutely nailed it from the minute he showed up on our screen. And more importantly, was a really sweet, wonderful guy. So I knew that my actress was going to be safe. I knew that he was going to be somebody that we could trust to bring into this space and nail the performance and be a positive, wonderful, safe person to work with, which was a huge priority. There's a fight sequence in the film, so it was really important to me that someone I knew was going to be safe. Then in the room, my style is very conversational. We do a lot of conversations before we ever get into the space. We're doing backstory. Figuring out. We're doing a lot of beat work. We're just very immersed in it before we even show up on the set. And then we had about half a day of rehearsal on the set in the apartment. And then when we were ready to roll, we were ready to roll because we'd already had these conversations. We already knew what we were doing.
I feel like even your film is conversational
Hmm.
because there's a long scene between the two main women
Hmm.
where they're just going through history, uh, they're really checking in with each other.
Hmm.
Uh, so tell me a little bit more about that supporting actress and uh, how you think about her in the films.
Catherine Chin. Catherine Chin is amazing. Also lucky enough to go to school with her, and she is a phenomenal actress. She's a phenomenal. She does audiobooks. She's amazing. She's a great writer too, actually. She, how I think about that character. Well, so spoiler alert, jumping ahead. I am thinking of this as a feature eventually, and I think that actually that character is kind of more of the lead because it ends up being her story about discovering this situation and um, and trying to assist her friend from escaping it. I mean, it's definitely going to be an ensemble piece, but it's the to be put in a position where you're forced to see things that you do not want to see. You don't want to see that your friend is abusing his wife. You don't want to be thrust into this position where, how do I help? What do I do? And I think it's really important to look at the people around the abuse and see what they're going through and see what they can do to help and frankly what they can't do. So we actually that was a conversation with Tori, the lead actress. We were talking through early drafts of the script, and we were talking about how do we layer even more sort of metaphors for domestic violence, and how do we raise the stakes in an even more compelling, realistic way. And that we're like, well, of course he has to threaten to kill himself. And then in this context, what does that mean? And I think one of the things I love about that scene is Charlie has to go through three different iterations, right? It's the demon pretending to be the man, it's the demon revealing himself, and then it's John question mark. Like, is it actually the husband or is it still just the demon play acting? It's we don't make that super clear. Exactly. Like we're not really sure who he is in any given moment, which again is the point. When you're dealing with unstable, erratic people, you're never quite sure what version you're about to encounter in any given moment. So yeah, I'm glad that you picked up on that beat because it felt really important to include that and to, the number one question that comes up in these situations is why don't they just leave, right? And the answer to that is always so complicated and so much harder than people give it credit for. Um, and so we're bringing up various reasons why they don't just leave, and that's a pretty big one, you know.
Okay. The last piece that comes to my mind in this puzzle is supporting actress and her husband,
Mhm.
because they have a little moment that it felt like he unintentionally just reinforced misogyny.
Yes, exactly. Again, thank you for picking up on that. I felt like the Joe character played by Ryan Cooper. We would laugh because we all agreed that he was just in a completely different film. As far as he's concerned, it's the best night of his life. Joe is not going to see anything he doesn't want to see in regards to John, you know. And when Joe has an opportunity to help John to be like the wise married, you know, long, happily married man, he defaults into internalized misogyny, like immediately, just hardcore nosedive into that women. They just need to calm down. They'll be fine, you know. In fact, there's a great take. I'll have to pull it and just put it on the internet at some point where we were doing that sequence where he's saying, you know, don't tell Kim I said this, but women just need to calm down. And you hear me in the background go, cut, A plus misogyny, gentlemen, well done.
It sounds like fun.
It was.
It's just chat movie. Do you have a favorite genre of movie that you go to?
I like fantasy, sci-fi, horror. I'm a genre person for sure. Um, Up until this point in my career, that's not what I've been doing. I've been a director for hire primarily, so I've done a lot of heavy dramas. Yes. And
Do you have a favorite movie?
yeah, it's a tough one. It's, you know, every answer to that is going to be a plethora of movies, but in the most like typical film student ever, I love Jaws. Like just a movie that I respect the hell out of. I can watch anytime, any place, anywhere. It's Jaws. It's the camaraderie. It's the way the film changes into an adventure saga halfway through. It's all the disasters that led to the good choices. You know, it's the monologues. Yeah, it's great. I love Jaws. What about you?
So my pre-canned answer is The Truman Show.
Okay, yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
that was one of those movies. It was a pivotal experience because I didn't feel like the same person by the end of it.
yeah. It's a beautiful film.
It is.
Yeah.
Uh,
I do wish someone would hire me to do a comedy. I'm ready. I'm ready for a comedy now.